Welcome back to finals. It is our final it's our final set here at Psycho Turtle for just a little while. It's our League Challenge final here. We have Aaron, Brok, and Jason Tang in the final round. And yeah, it'll be our last one here until at least when we're able to play 2026 locals, I believe. There is the barbecue on the 31st of May in 2 weeks, which definitely sign up for that. You can go to PokemonLabs.com for details. It'll be at Griffith Park. It is super fun. Definitely go. Past that, I mean, there will be Portland and NAIC and lots of Pokemon to do, and obviously Worlds in the region. But in terms of tournaments here and locals in general, it'll be closed down pretty soon. So we're getting close to our last taste of it here. Aaron's team, I'll run over it again. CalArts, Shadow Rider, Zamazenta, Chenpao, Tinglu, Amoonguss, and Raging Bolt. Jason's team, Grimmsnarl, Ursaluna, CalArts Ice Rider, Urshifu Rapid Strike, Incineroar, and Miraidon. We just saw a team with 6 of these Pokemon get kinda dumped on by Aaron's team. These are different sets for a lot of these Pokemon, although it is still the Leech Seed Calyrex, it is still the Choice Band Urshifu, and the Grimmsnarl is obviously basically the same. There's not a ton of deviation on that Pokemon. But still, you'd imagine that Aaron probably wants to go for a pretty similar setup, because it worked against Shane in the last round, and if it worked against Shane in the last round, it might work against Jason this time. So away we go. Game 1 of finals here. I'm not exactly sure what the challenge BFLs for these players are, or where exactly they're in the world seeding, but still plenty left to look for. It's going to be Grimmsnarl Miraidon as the lead for Jason, while it is the Chenpao Zamazenta for Aaron. We saw in that last game the Grimmsnarl getting the Reflect up turn 1 and then just getting taken out by Aaron. I don't know if Jason was watching. He did have a bye just because of a forfeit. So, good to see if Jason wants to play around that and potentially try to get a knockout here as early as possible. Especially if you're going to lose the Grimmsnarl, you get the Reflect up, you get the Miraidon out of here with like a Volt Switch or something. You could see that being an option. We'll see if that's what Jason wants to go for, though, or if he has a better plan. Maybe a Thunder Wave onto one of these two Pokemon. Well, it'd have to be the Zamazenta. Just a hard switch out on the Miraidon. Probably not pulling this play. Ooh, it is the Incineroar, though. So we'll drop the attack even further if the Reflect comes up. Might let Grimmsnarl take the hit. It might be close. Grimmsnarl will get the Reflect up. We'll see if Grimmsnarl takes this turn. Ice Spinner first. Not a ton of damage. Do the Body Press follow-up. And of course the Terrain drops. Body Press follow-up. Oh, we'll still get the knockout. Didn't even need a crit or anything. It just does a ton of damage to Grimmsnarl. It makes sense. Grimmsnarl's pretty frail, even through Reflect. So, there is Fake Out as an option now for Jason, but gonna have to play around setup a little bit here. And, I mean, Jason's got himself in a pretty similar situation Shane got himself in the previous set. So I'm a little worried about Jason's chances, to be perfectly honest. Although obviously a couple of advantages. The Assault Vest Miraidon is a little bit better against the Calyrex. We'll be able to take a lot more hits from it. And of course, we'll not be able to get disabled. Will not be able to get disabled. The word I'm looking, the phrase I'm looking to say. It'll be a little bit better. And Chenpao's just going to switch out of there, so it'll drop off the Sword of Ruin in exchange for Amoonguss coming out. If Aaron read this, or if Jason read this, it could be a really good turn. If Jason did not read this, if Aaron read Jason going for a Trick Room here, it'd be really, really good for Aaron. It's going to be the Terra Bug Incineroar. You don't really see Incineroar click Terra a whole lot, and you definitely don't see it click that Terra Bug all that often when it has it. but it'll take the body press because of that pretty comfortably. But Incineroar going to get the Will-O-Wisp the other direction, so it'll weaken him, it'll weaken the Zamazenta quite a lot. And yeah, Jason goes for the Trick Room. Now the question is, do you have it in you to switch in the Miraidon right now? Because that's the only way that you're not getting spored right now, is if you switch in Miraidon. It is a little bit easier to do such a thing because Incineroar not really being threatened with damage at all here right now. Same with Calyrex to honestly some degree, because the Will-O-Wisp does weaken the damage from Zamazenta, all of it, even the body press. But we'll see. I don't know what the play is necessarily, because Calyrex obviously has the Glacial Lance opportunity, and their Spore is potentially an option as well. Yeah. Okay, so you kind of do have to switch in the Miraidon here, and that is what Jason will do. So that means the Electro Terrain is up, so Spore will not go through if it is clicked by Aaron, but that means that you could just not click Spore. And it's the Pollen Puff instead, aiming into the Miraidon slot, not going to do much damage at all. The Leech Seed into the Zamazenta is now going to get established. That slot will heal over time, and the Body Press into Miraidon also does basically nothing. I think Jason basically read the play from... Or, excuse me, Aaron basically read the play from Jason and just didn't do any damage. That's the big problem with Zamazenta, is that there is not a lot that needs to be done to make Zama really useless. And there are some matchups where it is not particularly fun to play that guy. And that's the big difference between the sets for Jason and Shane on this Incineroar as well, is that this one has Will-O-Wisp. And Will-O-Wisp is really, really good in this format because you threaten Zamazenta most of all, and a couple of other physical threats, many of which are Terrafire specifically, but can help quite a bit. Amoonguss protects. Calyrex with the Glacial Lance, not going to be able to hit the Amoonguss that it really wanted to, probably. It'll still touch the Zamazenta. Pickles it a little bit. Zamazenta body presses into Miraidon again, and we might be playing a pretty slow one here. Yeah, Miraidon's going to... Ooh, Miraidon Volt Switch is out. I guess it doesn't really matter because Zamazenta will drop to all that passive damage right now. But now Incineroar will get to hit the field. And get another Intimidate off. And Calyrex will collect the 1 HP from Zamazenta remaining, and that'll be it for one of Aaron's 2 restricteds there. Which one of the Pokemon remaining is Aaron going to go for? Not even a lot of thought put in before sending out that Calyrex. It is pretty easy at this point to go for something like the Rage Powder and then the Astral Barrage, just trying to go fully, just go ham on Calyrex, trying to take over this game. We'll see if it KOs the Calyrex straight up here. It's a very bulky Pokemon, the Ice Rider is, but Calyrex Shadow Rider hits really hard. Astral Barrage hits really hard, and it's super effective. So, strong possibility that Aaron will get something big done here. It's going to be the Terra on the Amoonguss. I like that as well. Make sure you don't get hit super hard with the Glacial Lance, which makes sense as the play from the opposing Calyrex. Amoonguss Rage Powders, of course. Calyrex with the Glacial Lance does a good amount of damage to Calyrex, but it's not going to matter a whole lot. The knockoff into the Amoonguss going to deal a little bit of damage back to the Incineroar with the Rocky Helmet, but gets rid of the Rocky Helmet. And now, Astral Barrage, what does it get done here? Does it take out the Calyrex? Does it take out the Incineroar? It does not get rid of either. Calyrex on barely a sliver with a critical hit. Tiny, tiny sliver remaining for the Calyrex. But I don't know how much time is left on the Trick Room. I think this might be the final Trick Room turn right now. And if that is the truth, Aaron could go for something like a double protect, or even a side Pollen Puff, or even an offensive Pollen Puff into the Calyrex to try to finish it off there. A protect would certainly help quite a bit, because then we know that the we know that the Miraidon's in the back for Jason, and we know that the Chien-Pao is in the back for Aaron, and the Chien-Pao outspeeds that Miraidon almost certainly. Calyrex will protect, which makes sense. This is the last turn of Trick Room. The fastest Pokemon on the field is the Amoonguss, which Pollen Puffs just a little bit into the Calyrex. Picks up the KO. Don't even need the Grimnay boost. And Incineroar with the knockoff wanted it into the Calyrex, not going to get it into the Calyrex. Trick Room ends. Miraidon will have to take the field once more. But now the only question is, can Calyrex pick up KOs here from this range? One turn of Electric Terrain left as well. That could be a nice way for Amoonguss to try to win this one. But we're just going to see the Astral. I mean, it's mostly a question of how much Jason takes from this and then what Jason can even do, because there's not a way to get back your HP at this point if you're Jason. No Leech Seeds remaining, no leftovers remaining, and the Chien-Pao is still on the field. So there is the Amoonguss Protect. The Calyrex Astral doesn't KO the Miraidon, will KO the Incineroar, doesn't really get close to KOing the Miraidon, but it doesn't really matter. There is a Chien-Pao in the back. Incineroar drops, which is a big thing. And if the Miraidon doesn't attack into the Calyrex, it still is over. Ooh, the Snarl. Nice little play there. That should take out the Calyrex. Indeed it does. And the Chien-Pao is now the final Pokemon in the back. And no more terrain as well, so Hadron Engine is gone. It will do way less damage. Should still KO both these Pokemon in one hit, but I don't know if that would be enough. Because again, Chien-Pao is faster. All we need is just to wait a moment to see Aaron collect this victory. I don't see any way that Ice Spinner does not KO right now. Jason's certainly thinking about it. Might just be thinking about the next game as well. Getting ready for second game of finals, thinking about, okay, what do I need to lead now? That was kind of rough playing against that. Yeah, Jason's just going to forfeit. Aaron with the victory in game number 1 there. It played out pretty similarly to those games against Shane, where Trick Room went up, Amoonguss kind of dominated the field. Zamazenta got burned, which was a big difference, but when Calyrex came in, it took out the other Calyrex. When Shadow Rider came in, it took out the Ice Rider. And the critical hit was pretty significant there, and so Jason might say, okay, I can basically run it back, and with a little bit better luck, and also with a smarter turn 1, I'll probably be able to handle this a bit better. Because there were a bunch of things that Jason did a little bit suboptimally in that game number 1, and obviously Aaron can play around that. But knowing that Miraidon had a free opportunity to just click Volt Switch out in turn 1 and didn't go for it, I mean, that could have been basically the entire game. If Chien-Pao wasn't there, then Jason could have won that game, regardless of how, like, if all the other turns went roughly similar. It's just a question of how these two players play around what they have available to them now. Here we go. Could be the final game that we have here of the season. The Grimmsnarl Calyrex lead from Jason and the Zamazenta Chien-Pao out of Aaron. Don't love that choice because it is very similar to what Shane was running in that previous set that kind of got run over pretty quickly. Maybe you go for the Thunder Wave onto the Zamazenta, but that would leave Zamazenta's damage untouched, basically. And yeah, Grimmsnarl is just going to reflect again, and this will probably be Grimmsnarl dropping in one turn, and we'll see what happens after that. The reflect, there is the one hit, Chien-Pao loses some of its HP, there's the second hit, and now what does Calyrex go for? Leech Seed into Zamazenta. I mean, it makes sense as the choice there, but man, it does not feel great to just get a little bit of HP every turn as the play. So now, what do you do here? Incineroar is going to come out. It will drop Chien-Pao's attack as well as Zamazenta's, and it will put an opportunity for a Will-O-Wisp onto the Zamazenta. Although Zamazenta will also be able to... I mean, again, this is a situation where, okay, in the last game, Incineroar was forced to Terra Bug, which then put it in a much worse spot against Calyrex. Like, in Game 1, this would have been, like, Will-O-Wisp Trick Room. And I don't know if that's a winning position for Jason, but I don't necessarily know what is. Especially, I mean, if it is Will-O-Wisp Trick Room, you put yourself in a really bad spot against Amoonguss. And if you Terra your Incineroar in order to get the Will-O-Wisp off, you're putting your Amoonguss, or you're putting the rest of your team in a terrible spot. Chien-Pao's gonna switch out. No knowledge on the Terras just yet. Zamazenta protects. And Incineroar parting shots on the Amoonguss. It won't do much, but we will see Jason's last Pokemon, and we will also get to see what the Calyrex goes for here. It's going to be the Ursaluna coming in, so it will get the Flame Orb up as well. If this is Trick Room, yeah. So this is a nice setup for Jason now. Big question is whether Zamazenta can take hits. Particularly against this Ursaluna, and also, I don't know if the Ursaluna and Calyrex, I don't know what their speeds are. I believe Ursaluna goes first, which is not necessarily what you want if you're Jason. If Ursaluna goes first, then Zamazenta certainly gets an attack off. But with no Terra used yet, you do have the opportunity to threaten Terra Ghost on the Ursaluna to kind of scare off a Body Press. We'll see what the decision is in that sense. To the Terra, this is Aaron's Terra, I think? Not 100% sure? Yeah, that's Aaron's Terra. That is the Zamazenta, of course. Gonna Terra Water it. Seen that thing click Terra Water so many times at this point. Calyrex will protect. Amoonguss spores into the Calyrex, so not going to accomplish anything there. But Ursaluna did not protect. It'll Headlong Rush into the Zamazenta, not enough to KO. It'll drop its stats, and that means Ursaluna is gone. If it's Body Press, yeah. If it's Body Press into Ursaluna, it's... Ooh, it's not gone in one hit, but it's going to get taken down by the Flame Orb burn. By the burn chip. Ah, there it goes. It is barely taken down there, and that means Ursaluna's gone, and that is a really bad spot for Aaron, because now... Or it's a very bad spot for Jason, because now Aaron can kind of play this out very slowly. Just make sure that you don't get everything KO'd before the end of Trick Room, and then try to win it through Calyrex. There is still the Terra available is the big thing for Jason. So one of these two Pokemon gets a get out of a lot of damage free card. And yeah, Jason can also... Ooh, and now Jason burns the Terra while Aaron can kind of scout out the fake-out turn. It is the Amoonguss, or excuse me, the Incineroar going for the Terra there. And Aaron gets to see that and play around that a little bit. Yep, the double protect. Gets to see the choice there. It was fake out into the Amoonguss was actually the play. And the thing is, the Amoonguss now gets to... It is Rocky Helmet and Incineroar, so the Amoonguss can just spore either of them. Probably would prefer to spore the Calyrex. You could also spore the Incineroar and click Wide Guard, and I mean, there's a lot of options available. Although it looks like the Zamazenta will only take like one more Leech Seed, so we'll see how Amoonguss actually wants to play this out. Incineroar doesn't have a lot of damage, but does have enough to deal with everything here. Basically, everything remaining other than Zamazenta, other than Calyrex. It can take out the Calyrex damage-wise. It can take out everything else just, like, slowly. Probably? It's definitely probably range on that. Zamazenta's gonna Wide Guard, so it'll prevent a Glacial Lance. Amoonguss will Pollen Puff the Incineroar. A little bit of damage there. The Glacial Lance won't go through, obviously, because of the Wide Guard. And now what happens? Incineroar goes for Will-O-Wisp into the Amoonguss. I like this choice because you do need Amoonguss to take damage eventually. It'll take a while to get this Amoonguss out of the way, and so just getting a little bit of damage stacked up is probably what has to happen. Did Zamazenta drop to the life? Yeah, it does. So Leech Seed drops Zamazenta, a little bit of extra damage done to the Incineroar there. And it is Calyrex who's going to hit the field. Calyrex versus Calyrex once more. And I don't know how much Trick Room is left. It's the final turn of Trick Room. So a double protect here will stall out Trick Room entirely. No way to double Trick Room for Jason or anything to reset it. But we saw in the previous game that Calyrex took the Astro Barrage by itself reasonably well. But if it tries to get Trick Room up, it's not going to really enjoy that. Glacial Lance, the option there, did not really get to do anything. Calyrex actually moved before the Incineroar. That's interesting. I didn't really pick up on that. But that means that either Incineroar is extraordinarily low speed or Calyrex is pretty high speed. Oh no, that was with Trick Room still up. Yeah, okay, so yeah. So Astro Barrage will have an opportunity to go off, and the biggest problem, if Jason does anything to try to get the Amoonguss out of the way, then a second Astro Barrage will go off, and that ends the game, certainly. Because if Amoonguss Rage Powders, then that's kind of it. Amoonguss Rage Powders here. Incineroar will get to move first, so it'll be the knockoff heading into that slot after the Astro Barrage. To do good damage. Gets Calyrex down to very low HP. Again, a crit onto the Calyrex. Second crit in a row onto that Calyrex. Very weird. Incineroar takes some damage back from the Rocky Helmet after knocking it off. The Glacial Lance from the Calyrex. Yeah, it's not the Trick Room. Means that the Aaron's Calyrex will get the opportunity to just finish this game out. Should be moments away. I don't really see a way back into this one for Jason. A second crit on the Calyrex is rough. It probably would not have mattered in the sense that 2 Astro Barrages KOs Calyrex regardless, but definitely makes the calculus of everything a little bit more difficult. And the battle's canceled. Aaron Brok is your final League Challenge champion of 2025. Going to take home the crown for that. No one will be able to take that final League Challenge champion. There is still one more cup for Pokemon Labs. You can go to PokemonLabs.com for the information about the barbecue at Griffith Park. All the details are there. Definitely sign up. It'll be a super fun time. And, of course, Portland next week, NAIC after that, Worlds after that. Plenty of Pokemon left to be done in the 2025 season, and then into the 2026 season when that loops around in whenever it does, July or August, probably. In any case, that'll be it for us. Thank you for watching. We will see you all next time.